Hey guys, BJ the Brave here, and I am bringing you some, not just one, but two Necron decks today. I've been fiddling around a little bit and having a play, and I wasn't quite sure which one to focus on. I haven't got time to play test these decks loads and loads and loads. So what I'm going to show you are some decks that I just found from other people, and I thought they were pretty interesting. And I'll definitely show you at least a game with each of them. So let's dive right in. As always, guys, if you like the content, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. All right. So the first thing I want to show you is a deck that I came across on the Discord Necron channel. If you're not part of the Discord yet, why not go and join that? There should be a link in the description below. But yeah, the Vorus is a Necron player, and he came up with this, or something like this, and I quite liked it, so I took it for a spin. What have we got? We got Ramatekh the Cruel, and of course, for those who don't know, one of the things I really like about Ramatekh is the hardwired destruction ability, which gives him +1/+1, and also because he is a destroyer, he's got the destroyer tag there, he gets shield, sorry, +1 armor. But the thing I really love about this ability is that it lasts until the start of your next turn. So in your opponent's turn, you're still a 3/3 with a shield. Now, when you're playing against things like Jane Zar and Gordrang and things that like to hit you in the face and beat you down, it does make them think twice about hitting you in the face when you're a 3 attack shielded body. So it's pretty good in that regard. Now let's look at the deck itself. So what this deck is basically doing is we've got, in terms of the units we're curving out, we've got the damaged plasma sight. In the 3-drops, we've got the typical Technomancer, Tombblade, and Praetorian. This thing's as old as time. It is literally the, I don't know what the term is, the Triforce. Is that the old term that's used in Zelda? The Triforce? Anyone remember that? So yeah, basically those three just kind of like all complement each other very, very well. And the 4-drops, you've gone for the Psychomancer, so this says to me that, you know, we're able to play on tempo, we're able to slow our opponent down. And of course, you've got the Scorpex as your other 4-drop, which always do that because they can remove whatever's on the board. And then we got the double damage Hexmats. This card's pretty good, to be honest. Like with the Artifice, every time you cast a spell, it attacks. The single Implacable Conqueror is interesting because, like, I never know whether 1 or 2, because like the second one always does feel a bit kind of like unneeded, really. But the problem is that it's a little bit less consistent. I don't know. The thing is with Implacable is you often, if you're playing against a tempo deck, you often don't want to play this on turn 5 anyway. So I don't know. Maybe 1's okay. The Inescapable Retributions are just really, really good value. Double Tombblade for only 5. Scythe Assault, one Conquering Tyrant. This is pretty good, this card, because obviously the +2 to melee is permanent, and that means that when you then hero power, you've got 5 melee attack, and that really makes Abaddon with the sword or Gordrang with the +2 really think twice about hitting you with melee attack, right? So it's a really good counter right now, Conquering Tyrant, to that. So I think that's the main reason he runs it. Now in the 6-drops, he's gone for the double Immortal Phalanxes, and then the Tomb Will to bring all that stuff back. In terms of the support spells, we've got the double Extermination, we've got double Reconstitution, so we can bring one of these useful units back from the dead. He's gone for a single Hyperlogical Strategist. This is always a card that I want to have in the deck, and I end up cutting just because I run out of space, but it's just a really great card. It's just a really flexible, and especially where you've got the Artifice going off, like you do with the damage hex marks and stuff, then card's just brilliant because you can get another cheap unit, and you basically another cheap spell, and you basically get to play 2 spells. So he's also got the double Awakened Dynasty, which is pretty cool. Draw 2 cards, and then get a Reanimation Protocol for each one that's a troop. And of course, like if you've already got off your Implacable Conqueror, that means you then join 2 discounted cards. So you know, it's pretty good. We've already talked about the Scythe Assault. We've already talked about these two. So overall, it's kind of like it's like a fairly low to the ground mid-range deck, so it should keep up with sort of faster tempo decks, and then kind of got the Tomb Will to cheat, right? Like to sort of come back at the end, and if you're getting things like Phalanxes out towards the end, that's really, really powerful. Yeah, so that is the Ramatekh deck. I thought that was pretty cool. We'll jump into a game in a minute. The other one I want to talk about is Barrick's Scarab's deck. Now, Scarabs always get a bad reputation, but I you know, sod that now, because there's some new cards that came out with the Necrons, and this deck I really like because it's actually making use of a lot of the new cards. So it's making use of the Dimensional Corridor. Look, 2 copies, choose a troop from your deck, draw it, and create a copy into your hand. You probably want to be looking for things like the Ramatekh Spider if you need to get Scarabs going again, or maybe you're looking for one of the engine cards like the Locust Destroyer, or a support card like the Damaged Plasma Sight. So it's making use of that. It's also, as I say, making use of the brand new Locust Destroyer. This thing's really good because you can basically look to get sort of 6 or 7 Scarabs out, plus one of these, and another card that we'll come on to in a minute. And then every time a Scarab dies, it's essentially doing another 1 damage. So you're kind of doubling the amount of damage output by having this thing on the board. It is also a remnant, so you can bring it back to life. Pretty cool, and not one that I've really played with too much, to be honest. Just a single Scarab in the deck. What you're really trying to do here is obviously get the Spider's Nest, or the Ramatekh Scarabs, or the Spider, and try to play out your Scarabs with all of the cheap spells that you've got. You have got a few things that can help you in the early game, though, like the Damaged Plasma Sight to get your health up, or dropping things like the Scarab Destroyer, or we've even got one Inescapable Retribution. So on E5 you could just drop double these to clear up whatever your opponent's got down so far, and then start with the Scarab Span. Quite low to the ground, and the only kind of high cost spells, obviously you've got the Self-Destruction as the big finisher, but it has got Immortal Pride, which means then that Orkz's ability goes from costing 1 to only costing 0, which is fantastic, and obviously you'll have armor as well, and double Methodical Destruction, so for the removal of the big stuff. So I think this deck is really powerful. Barracks stormed to like the top of the Necron chart leaderboard at the minute with this, and I think it's got some pretty good matchups, to be honest, and also some pretty interesting matches, like when you're playing Gordrang, because obviously against Gordrang you're going really wide with all these Scarabs. Orks traditionally don't have good ways of getting rid of the go wide boards other than Will of Gork, but what Gordrang can do is obviously heal for 8 every time, so you kind of get into this cat and mouse game where what you need to do is almost like create a occasion where you kind of have a lot of burst damage, so you collect all the pieces and then go wide and then hit them with burst rather than kind of a gradual chip. So it kind of leads to some different ways of playing the Scarabs a bit. And yeah, I you know, Scarabs get a bad run, but I actually think this is a pretty cool card, a pretty cool deck, and it makes use of some of the new cards really nicely. So I wanted to give this one a shine as well. So let's jump into a few games, and then we can sort of see how these get on. Did have a couple of I did have a couple games pinned, actually. So this one we got Equivalent, who is the top Space Marine player and top of the Space Marine ladder. So in this we kept hold of the Destroyer, and he's running Titus. I'm not actually even sure I've got Titus, to be honest. Wouldn't mind giving Titus a go. Maybe that's my next deck guide. Let me know in the comments which decks you'd like to see guides for. Yeah, Titus, I don't think I've done a deck guide for this guy yet. Okay, so he armors up and hits face. We go ahead, standard hardwired destruction. And we actually don't need to hit face. That's another thing I like about this. You can use it very defensively. So he's going to hit, okay. Basically, we're both taking 2. Now we have got this as well, Solar Storm up. So we kind of go ahead and do the same again. Playing very patient. This time we did hit. I think we probably should be hitting, because like when his thing doesn't last on his turn, and ours lasts on both, so we definitely would come out winning that war, so we probably should have been hitting, to be honest. And this turn like is a bit awkward, right, because I can't play the Awakened Destiny because my hand's too full, and I don't want to just chuck out a Destroyer. Maybe I should have just played the Technomancer. I don't know. I don't really like doing that either. So we played a very, very slow start here. Now down comes the Impulsor. So we're going to just reanimate that, and then we're going to basically buff our destroyer, our lord, build a tank with the lord, and then we'll have a tomb guard left alive. Okay, he's in Angels of Death. Interesting. AOD. I think we're just going to Scarab and then use our Warlord ability again. See the insane value we've had out of this thing so far. Okay, gets to blind the Lord. Then he wants to clear out the remnant so we can't be resurrecting that and bringing it back. I think we just play the Hex Mark here and we play the Hardwired Destruction. Kaboom. Sergeant Tillian. And again, I think he's going to clear off the remnant. Yeah, sticking with that same strategy. He must know we've got a lot of kind of like resurrecting hand. So I think the problem here is we just can't really develop the board when we've got the sniper on the board. So this is why we've kind of gone with this line of play where we get the flanker back. No, it's a great use. The reconstruction spell is really underrated. It's a really good card. Outrider. Okay, so this turn we finally dropped the phalanx. We're going to clear with this, and I think we're actually going to drop the... do we drop the heal here? I think we do, right? Yeah. So we dropped the hit. We dropped the damaged plasma site, and that left 1 energy, so we got to do 1 damage here. We could have actually attacked and kind of gone in on that. Okay, so he gets his first hard removal out. Is he going to clear the remnant? No, he's going to go with the blast. And finish off the plasma side. Now we've finally got a body left, so we might as well use the Technomancer. And now we make our units cheap, and that's pretty handy actually, finding the Praetorian. And hopefully we put the Praetorian next to the damaged plasma site, yes. And getting the heal now on our Lord. Down comes the Librarian. Forward deployment. Does run the attack insight. That's a card I really need to learn how to play since they've changed it. It'll be fun to try some ultramarine stuff. So obviously we could go the hard removal, but I think here we decide actually we can remove with the flankers. Let's save the methodical destruction in case he's got some sort of big tank or something. I think we just use the reanimation here. That gives us a nice wide board, and this damaged plasma site just giving us the heal. Just loving this card. So, the new Predator Annihilator, recently buffed. Thumbs down. Turn 12. Game's going long. But I think now we use this to kill the tank, and that'll make the damaged hex mark go face. Kind of got it in the bag. Obviously we can just use more spells to finish it off, but we don't really need to because we've got the damage on board. GG. Okay, so that was a game with the kind of mid-range Ramatekh. I thought it was quite a fun one, quite a good game, quite sort of back and forth. I really liked Equivalence deck as well. I might try something out like that myself. Now let's take a look at the Scarab deck. So this is Barrack's deck, which is kind of currently top of the Necron ladder. So in this version we've kept the Dimensional Corridor. Obviously you want to look quite heavily for you to get your Scarabs going in this matchup, and I keep the Dimensional. I wonder what Barrack would do there, but I kept it because I kind of figure that I can kind of look for, you know, I could look for the Canatech Spider, for example, if I didn't have any Scarabs, but we have anyway. We've got the nest, so we just went for this. Should have gone for this. Maybe should have gone with the Scarab there. I'm not sure. So down comes the Warp Spider. Its face. We actually decided to go with a little bit of a slower start here. Just kind of, it's more like a distraction play. Like we're not expecting anything from this other than to kind of give us 2 heal and then pretty much die. Yeah. We can just finish that off nicely. And he decides to go face rather than clearing off the remnant. So on our E5, we've kind of got a natural, inescapable retribution here. Just come on down and finish this unit off, and obviously clear the stone. Okay, down comes the old Exarch. I think this is the turn now where it's time to get the spiders out. One of the things I like to do against Aeldari when I'm playing Scarabs is get Scarabs out when he's got the 2 stones, because it kind of wastes his Eldritch Storm. Whereas like now, if he plays Eldritch Storm, he kind of, this is where he wants to play Eldritch Storm, right? Where he doesn't want the doubles, he doesn't want the 2 stones. He just wants to get the kind of 1-tier Storm, which is kind of perfect against Scarabs. But you know, it's E6 and we've not begun yet. We've got to get them going at some point. So that's kind of why we did this. So we've got the pressure on him now. So like, obviously he really needs the storm. If he's got the storm, he's in a pretty decent spot because he can then put a lot of pressure on face. So he does have the storm, and he can just basically develop his Warlord power and just kind of go face here for 8 damage. And he probably will clear the remnant with the... No, he actually decides he wants to go in. He doesn't want to wait about. Fair enough. So very good of us to pick the nest, playing around the storm. Like when you're playing as the Scarabs, you always want to say, how do they clear my board? Think about their AoE, and then what is your next play after an AoE? Like you always want to have that in your back pocket. And in a sense, like you play around the play around. So we're going to kind of put this down. We are getting a little bit low on health, and we can play out a curve quite nicely here. And we're going to find the... Go for... Probably went with the Dimensional Corridor, did we? Sure, we'll see. So, has he got the second storm? No, he hasn't. But he has got a Fire Prism. So we can take out our healer. And he probably wants to clear that too. This is a slightly awkward turn, actually. I don't know whether we should have just played both of them, but then we couldn't actually play a... Maybe we should have just... Yeah, I don't know. Bit of an awkward turn, really. Kind of waiting to see where these pings go as well, and then we kind of realise, don't think we can kill that. Probably this one. Yeah, when that one hits, we realise we can't really kill this. So now the question is, do we just maximise the damage and risk losing our Scarab board? I think we decide, yeah, we will do that. I don't want to attack, even though I put him down to 8 health. Aeldari can have some really good reach, especially with the 6 drop on the board. So, I didn't want to give him the option of just kind of burning us down and going first, so that's why we didn't attack there. Okay, so Frank's got the big boy. Fortunately, he hasn't got the stone, so he can't blast and kill the Scarabs there, so we're still in. Of course, we can kind of rebuild now with the methodical. Back to a full board. So he's drawing because he's looking for that second storm. Instead he finds the Spirit Seer, which does give him a blocker. It's pretty cool. And he can clear off 2 Scarabs for free as well, by the looks of things. Problem is, we've got the second methodical. So just with playing that, we've basically got get straight through, and we got the damage. Damage to end him. GG, Frank. So yeah, I think you know, as far as like Scarab decks go, I think this is pretty fun, to be honest. Especially if you're keen to see a kind of more refined version of it, really making use of, as I say, some of those new cards, having some fun with those guys and the Locust Destroyers and stuff, quite low to the ground. I really like this deck. It might even be one of the 4 that I kind of play most of the season with. I'm not really sure, but definitely if you want to play some Necrons and be one of those kind of like prey decks, then this is it for you. So anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments if there are any particular warlords you'd like to see deck guides for. And yeah, hope that was helpful, guys. Good luck with your Necrons.